One thing that stood out is he said it's all about winning. And for the team that he selected with everybody else that were in the hunt, the Broncos, the Jets, the Cardinals, of course, going to Minnesota, it's all about winning. At the very end, something that I heard was interesting. He said everything's in place, the leadership is there. We have all the pieces to win a lot of games. I would have loved for him to say win the Super Bowl because last year, Kirk, they won a lot of games. This year, we're going to need that ring, buddy. We're going to need that ring.
I mean, in the history of football, there's never been a contract like this. What is it, $90 million guaranteed, all up front, 3 years. I mean, crazy, crazy precedent-breaking contract. So the Vikings fans are excited. I think they're a little tentative to go crazy about it just yet. But I said something on the show yesterday. I said, I think these guys can compete for a Lombardi. And it was tweeted out, and the response was from every Vikings fan, it's March. Stop that. It's
really?
Like they have been through enough as a fan base where they want to be excited, but there is always a tentative feel. And with Kirk Cousins, I really think when we look back on this thing 3 years from now, if they don't win a Lombardi trophy with the money they're paying him and the way they went all in on this and they kind of pushed Case Keenum to the side, I do think they came up short. That's the only expectation you can have with this type of money and this type of contract. That's incredible pressure.
I watched this entire press conference, start to end, and I think that he was feeling it a little after it was question after question about Super Bowl. And I know in his head he's thinking, wait, it's only March. But I don't know the expectation has actually hit him yet. Like that, it is actually Super Bowl or bust. It is not it will never be a question, I believe, on Good Morning Football. Is it Super Bowl or bust for the Vikings? Because it's not a question. It is. So I think he needs to get that.
Well, he's
through his two-tone tie.
He's going to have to embrace that. It's the contract. And it's not just the contract. Listen, if he would have signed that same deal with Arizona or the Jets, it's like, you know what? They need to build around him. They need time. But because they got so close last year, and to Peter's point, you make a great point. 3 years from now, say they don't win. All of a sudden, this whole fan base is going to look back and say, we should have kept Case. We should have kept Case. We were that close. Why would we get rid of him? What if? It's like that ex-girlfriend you let walk away. What if I just stayed with her? We'd led a happy life. But on the flip side, Kirk Cousins has shown some flashes of absolute brilliance on the field at the quarterback position. Say he does get that ring. It's all worth it. And everybody's going to be searching for the new Kirk Cousins.
It's quite possibly the most bold move I've seen in free agency in my years covering the game, where you're going to go from the NFC Championship game with one guy and say it wasn't good enough. Let's give everything to this other guy. But what if it works? I said that yesterday. What if it works?
Awesome.
And it's the savviest move we've ever seen. Savvier than John Elway taking a risk on, Peyton Manning, and savvier than the Saints going with Drew Brees, because those teams were not as far along as this team is right now. They're one piece away.
And those teams were getting bona fide legends.
Yes.
In their quarterbacks. Like, you're getting a legend in Peyton Manning. Like, you're getting a beloved Kirk Cousins, but he's not a legend yet.
So what did you want him to do? Did you want him to get up on the podium and say, we're going to win the Super Bowl? Did you need to hear that from him? Because if I'm a Vikings fan, I'm not saying, hold on, it's only March. I want a guy who's embracing the fact that it is Super Bowl or bust. And now I agree with you.
Tell me, right?
Tell me you want to win the Super Bowl. Tell me you're going to win the Super Bowl, because either way, you got to win one.
You have to.
I want him to look at the camera and say, we're going to win the Lombardi, and then go, you Vike that? You Vike that?
Okay.
He didn't do that. He said,
he should, okay.
Happy to be here.
Should have went full LeBron. Not one, not two, but 3 Super Bowls.